Welcome to today's Daily Walk in Wisdom. We're in Ecclesiastes. We're in verse 8 of chapter 1, where it says, "All things are wearisome, more than one can say." That's a lot of weariness, if it's more than you can say. I think when people find themselves in a great state of weariness or depression or darkness, then there are not the words to describe how we feel. In fact, we can't even muster the energy to say how we feel. That's a dangerous weariness. The ubiquitous, unmitigated weariness so pervasive in the Western world that we could call it pathogenic has its origin in our unrelenting, gnawing, nagging desire for things. You wouldn't have known that without Ecclesiastes. Everybody wants something. The sensation created is meaninglessness, and it is experienced as weariness. Self-indulgent, self-preoccupied, sterile, indeterminable weariness. Amassing possessions, striving for position, pursuing adventures, none of these things will save a person from their existential crisis. Solomon is weary of life. He is the most privileged man in the most affluent society of his day, surrounded by opulence and indulgence, and he says all things are wearisome. If it's a thing, then it will drain you. All things, if it's a thing, it will drain you, even if it's a good thing. You buy a car, then you have to look after it. You get a horse, you've got to feed it. You have to pay the vet bills, then there's the adjustment. Horses are expensive. Purchase a house, there's the mortgage and insurance and maintenance and electricity and gas bills, and on it goes, and then you want to renovate. This isn't saying, Solomon isn't saying that there aren't certain things that we need to take advantage of in our day-to-day living. It's not saying we don't need certain things. It simply means they hold the potential to make you weary because meaning cannot be found in anything. If it's a thing, it can leave you nauseous. The more things, the greater the potential for weariness. And then everything you get quickly creates an appetite for the next thing. One car isn't enough, now we need two. One television isn't enough, now we have to have one in every room. One Bible is not enough, we need to have the latest version. We're never satisfied. Then you have to protect whatever it is that you get, so you get so attached to things. You can get so attached to your watch that if somebody were to take it from you, it would feel as though they have pulled off your arm. The feelings of disappointment and despair and even anger if somebody crashes your car. Well, they don't even need to crash it. They might just scratch it, and you can have such an eruption of anger. All they've done is scratched your car. If a mere scratch can cause you to become violent, then that just shows the power that a thing can have over you. What about those things that you do? That's a thing. Work, entertainment, exercise, all of these things are capable of inciting weariness in the soul. And the more things you do, the greater the drain is placed upon your life. This yawning ache in your psyche over a thing is a critical sign that you are trying to gain meaning from a thing, from some thing, and not from God. There's a correspondence between our approach to things, whether they are our possessions or that which we desire to possess, or even those things that others possess. And in looking at them, they create within us an experience of meaninglessness. Things can also extend beyond the impersonal and the inanimate, the object, the material thing. Have you ever heard the expression, that person is possessive? That person is possessive. When we say that, we're talking about a malady of the soul whereby they become controlling over another person. Might be their wife, might be their girlfriend, might be your husband or your boyfriend, or might be your child. That child might be 40 years old and you're still possessive, obsessive over him. So the person who is obsessive or possessive is treating the object of their obsession. That noise you can hear in the background is my puppy trying to get into the room. Is their obsession over a thing, over a what, over an it, not a who. You need to understand here that when we treat somebody as a thing, an it, a what, instead of a who, instead of being a real, legitimate human being, then we have stopped treating them in relationship to who they are. We are now treating that person as a thing, a possession, an it, not a who. And anything will create a dangerous weariness within our soul, a sense of meaninglessness, and it will create a sense of meaninglessness for whoever we are treating as a thing. That's why many marriages come to an end, because my husband or my wife has ceased to become a real person in my life and is now just part of my possessions. Yes. It's quite possible for you to treat God in this way as well. When we treat God like a thing, we don't relate with him person to person. We talk at him. We pray at him. We are not seeing him for who he is. We are not engaging or encountering him in this moment, in this instant, meeting with God face to face, but instead we are treating him as a thing, like an image or an idol, as a thing that we carry around with us, as a thing that we have to appease in many cases, or a thing that we have to please, or a thing that we have to try to get something out of. Yeah, when we do this, when we treat God in this way, we miss the personal. God is intensely interested in having a personal relationship with us. But when we treat him like a thing, then he is no longer a person in our lives. Yeah. And so we miss out on that which God desires so much to have with us. Now, to break with the radiation sickness that we suffer through an attachment to things, and things are radiating their darkness upon our lives, then we have to value the personal, the encounter. We have to value our personal encounter with God and with others, with our wife, with our husband, with our children, to value that one-on-one, that meeting, that moment where in our relationship we kiss each other in that instant meeting together. And that can only happen in the instant wherein you are in communication, where you are looking at someone as a pure person, as a person who is valuable, who is a gift from God. That can only happen in that moment. You treat them like that, and you actually encounter God through that other person. It's an amazing thing. Value their thoughts, value their conversation, value the person for who they are, not for what they do. Do this, and you will dial up the level of energy and intensity in your relationship with God and with others. You will find weariness will leave you, the malady will leave you, and you will find life to be the most exciting thing you could possibly ever do. Just living becomes exciting when you have this encounter at the personal level. Think about it. A human being becomes whole not within himself. A human being becomes whole not through being contained within himself, but by virtue of being in authentic relationship with another human being, or with another, as in being in relationship with God. So you will not find wholeness within your life and meaningfulness within your life by being self-absorbed and consumed with who you are wanting to become. But you will find meaning by giving another person your true attention, your true focus, your real valuable time and interest. And when you do that with another person, so your life becomes whole. And when you do that with God, my, the encounter with God will save your soul. God bless you.